Happy holidays from KHEAA. Welcome to Coffee with KHEAA episode 20, never right? know. 20.
It's a milestone episode.
20. Because didn't we start this about a year ago?
Yeah.
And wasn't the goal to do it twice a month? So we're about 4 off.
That's not bad.
But not too shabby, y'all.
That's not bad.
More than 4. Because we should have had 26 if we started in December, right?
No, it'd be 24. 12 times 2 is 24.
But we started in December, not January.
Yeah, but you didn't post it all in June or July.
I don't know.
In most of August.
That's true. FAFSA grant, y'all. FAFSA grant. But we're here. We've made it a year. Happy 1 year anniversary of Coffee with KHEAA. And to all a good night.
And here's a look back at all of our highlights.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, listen, if we were an 80s sitcom.
That's right.
This episode would be a review of all the things we've done.
It's the easiest trick in the book.
So we're going to stop here and we're going to have Zach and Lene just do a super cut of every funny moment that's happened in like slow motion, like with like good music playing over it.
Play Green Day "Time of Your Life" in the background.
Ooh, that's good.
Pull at the heartstrings a little bit.
Yes. Okay.
Another turning point. Right? You know what I'm talking about.
Fork stuck in the road.
There we go.
That's all I'm going to sing. I'm embarrassed now. Okay. Welcome. Here we are. A couple of big things. The FAFSA is open. I think we talked about that on the last podcast, but I was in absentia.
Yeah.
Because I was in a flu coma. But you and Jess talked a lot about the FAFSA opening and all that meant.
Brand new, hot off the press at that point.
It started out as a widely available beta test.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And then they basically a few days later just said, okay, now it's open.
You all just have at it.
That's right. Yeah. There was very little pomp and circumstance, very little build up, just file your FAFSA. Yeah. It's available.
It was like one of those like silent grand openings that like restaurants will do.
It was a soft opening.
Yes. Yeah.
And so we have a few updates regarding the FAFSA this time around. We just kind of wanted to chronicle some of our FAFSA initiatives that we have going on. And then we just wanted to, bid you Happy New Year. But first, a little coffee talk. All right, our coffee talk today. This one's going to be such a hard one for me. Of course, I didn't make this one up. Lene just told me. We have 2, actually. I have a second one that I'm going to throw at you completely unexpectedly. But Lene said right before we started, she said, let's do favorite Christmas movie. That's such a good topic.
That is good.
But I have so many favorite Christmas movies. Because
You try to guess Cassie's first.
Ooh.
I like that better.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
You try to guess ours.
Okay. This is good. Okay. All right. I have a suspicion. I have a couple of guesses for you. I'm going to try to do the top one.
Okay.
I think your favorite is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
It is 100%. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yep. And I know what yours is.
What? Tell me.
Christmas Story.
Oh, yes, it's a Christmas story. Because what I was going to say is mine really depend on what mood I'm in. Yep. Like, am I in like a romantic comedy? Am I in like a nostalgic mood? Am I in a funny mood? Because it's hard to pick just one. But Christmas Story cannot be topped. It's the best Christmas movie, period. And shockingly, a very good movie is A Christmas Story Christmas that came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it actually has Ralphie, right?
It does. Like all the same characters. Yeah. The dad, of course, the actor who played the dad, of course, has passed away. But in the movie, he's passed away.
Right.
And then the mom is a different actress.
Okay.
And that's my
I've not seen it, but I knew about it. I've heard about it.
Okay. That's your assignment.
Okay.
Go home and watch it.
I love A Christmas Story. I've seen it a million times.
Yes.
It's probably my second favorite.
Yeah.
And it depends. Like if, this time of year, National Lampoons and Christmas Story are like on almost like around the clock.
Yes.
So I will say sometimes I'll stop on Christmas Story. Sometimes I'll stop on Christmas
It just
Vacation.
depends on what mood you're in.
Yeah.
If I want to laugh, I'm going to watch National Lampoons.
Yeah.
If you want a romantic comedy, as you frequently do.
For Christmas?
Yeah.
You'll have to come back to me on that. I don't know.
The Holiday.
Die Hard, does that count?
Yeah,
I mean, they
that's a
get back
romantic
together at
comedy.
the end.
I do love The Holiday, Four Christmases, and Family Stone. Like those are like
For
I watch
Christmas,
those.
I don't think I've seen Family Stone or The Holiday.
Don't watch Family Stone.
Why is it sad?
Yes.
Okay.
I sob. I mean, like ugly cry.
I've seen Four Christmases. That's a good one.
Yes. Yes.
That's
And
the one with like
Holiday's
Vince
really good.
Vaughn, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are like up there. They're pretty high up there. And then I've got like
Oh, Bad Santa's up there for me too.
Zach actually starred in Bad Santa.
What?
Oh. I said Zach starred in Bad Santa. I think that you look like that kid.
Seen Bad Santa.
You as a child look like the kid from Bad Santa. I have to pull up a picture. So when you're editing this, flash a picture on the screen. Just joking, my phone doesn't work. Kid
You've
from
never seen
Bad
Bad Santa? It's worth a watch. Have you, Lene?
It is, but it is. I was like shocked at the content of Bad Santa.
I mean, it
It
says
is.
it in the title.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks.
No, but like I've seen your.
Open that up with your Peter Pan.
Yes, that's what I'm
That's where
saying.
that came from.
The blonde curly hair, like yes. When he showed me that, I was like, hands down, that is the kid from Bad Santa. That's not Zach.
Joke's on you. I'm a child actor.
We were all wondering where he is today. He works at KEAA. So yeah, anyways, and then I have like my Hallmark favorite Christmas movie, which is, I don't think it's actually made by Hallmark, but if you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. It's so good. It's
not a
called,
Hallmark movie, so that makes
well, it's like a Hallmark style
Yeah.
of movie. It's called the 12 Dates of Christmas. It has Amy Smart and Dawson from Dawson's Creek, James
Okay.
Vanderbeek.
Yeah.
So good. Wait, is that right? Is that who that is? No, maybe it's Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell. I think it's Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Okay.
Anyways, so good. I think it's on Disney Plus. Okay, so we have to guess Zach's. I have a pretty good idea.
Cat.
I think yours is Elf.
No. Hates Elf.
Okay.
I'm going to say, give me a hint. Is it old or new?
Old.
Really?
I'm going to say Rudolph.
Wait. I'm going to say, what's the classic one that everybody watches in black and white? George Bailey.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
It's a Wonderful,
Wonderful
Life.
Underrated. If you've not seen it,
That's up there
underrated.
for me. I love that.
So good.
That's such a good movie.
An angel gets its wings.
It's on like one of the local channels every Christmas
Yes,
Eve.
well,
and
it's. I think
usually
it's like
watch
a royalty free. So like
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
people are watching Christmas movie, unless it's a new Netflix Christmas movie where they're watching Netflix Christmas movies every time you see television. Have you noticed this? Yes. If you see a Christmas movie, usually they're watching It's a Wonderful Life on television because it's royalty free, so they have to pay the royalties too.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that was that. I don't know. Can't remember. But anyways, I had never watched it because I'm like black and white. Blah, who cares? But then I watched it a few years ago.
It's really good.
It's a
Yeah.
solid movie. Okay.
Miracle on 34th Street.
Now, when he says old,
It's a cartoon.
So
he
it's when we
probably
were in
means
high
from our
school.
childhood.
No, my mom's a child when she watched it.
Dr. Seuss, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
He says a cartoon.
That's how the.
It's animated.
That started out as a cartoon.
Yeah. They still think of Jim Carrey
I
as the
know.
original.
Jim Carrey is
Yeah.
the original Grinch.
I don't think that's
Oh,
weird.
no.
I knew there was a
Oh,
cartoon.
you're talking about that movie from Pharrell?
That's right, yeah. Where Pharrell is the narrator. Okay.
All right.
It's a cartoon.
It's animated.
It's animated.
It's a claymation.
See, I was on the right track.
So
with
it's not
then.
Rudolph. It's
Close to Rudolph.
Frosty.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
No.
No, The Year Without a Santa Claus. Ooh, that's such a good one. I love everything Rankin Bass. Everything. That's that like genre. So good.
I found a
I would
channel
not
the
have
other day
guessed
that's
that
that
from
kind
you.
of stuff 24 hours a
Impressed.
day. Wow.
I love
I'll
that.
have to show it to you. Lene.
Okay. This is also going to be a toughie.
No, it's not. She was born in 2000.
Elf.
2001, yes.
Elf.
See, I knew it had to be one of yours.
Always been
I love Elf. It's so good.
You know, I'll tell you something that's
Die Hard.
interesting. I've not seen Elf all the way through. I've seen I've probably seen all of it.
love it.
You know what I mean?
think
Like
it's
at
so
different
good.
points.
Yeah. that's how I am about a lot of things. Yes. No, it's worth it. I think it's a good movie. I think it's cute. I have shown it's got a few questionable things in it, questionable words.
I say, 10 a.m. Santa's coming. I literally said this last night. Santa.
I know him. This year have finally let my kids watch Elf, and they love it.
They love it.
Yeah,
Okay.
they love it. They love. They want to know that the hardest question they asked was about was it Elf talks about yellow snow?
Yeah.
Yeah. They were like, why?
The yellow
Yeah, why is it a problem to eat the yellow snow? And I was like, why would it be yellow? And then they like to say, the yellow ones don't stop. So they're starting to quote Elf, but I quote Elf quite a bit.
Yeah. My girls quote Billy Bob from Bad Santa.
If you've let your children
No.
see Bad Santa,
I'm kidding. No, I have not let them see that.
it's a rough one. I mean, it is hilarious.
Right.
But it's a rough one.
Yeah.
Like, I remember watching it thinking, like, I'm going straight to hell for watching this.
I want to put that. Need to watch.
You do. It's worth one watch.
Jack Black coming out with a new, like, Dirty Santa or Bad Santa?
It's called Dear Santa. It's very controversial. My
haven't even
children
heard
won't
about
be
this.
watching it. This kid is writing a letter to Santa, and instead of saying Dear Santa, he says Dear Satan.
Oh.
And so Jack Black comes like to the world as Satan and takes this kid on like a joyride. And the kid has a blast.
Interesting.
Bad Santa is
Yeah.
probably NC-17.
It's funny. You should watch it.
We're Bad Santa, not Dear Santa.
I haven't even heard of that.
You haven't even heard of it? I'll show you the trailer.
I feel like I'm so out of the loop with movies anymore.
Because you have cable box.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I do. I am out of the loop when it comes to movies.
Don't put that out there in the world, Cassie.
Don't feel like Keith, we have cable boxes.
I meant you have cable television.
Right. I have no reason to go to the movie theaters.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Landline.
I do. No, I don't.
He still has dial-up internet.
That's right. Yeah.
He
Takes
wrote me a letter the
seven-
other day. I got a letter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a letter in the mail. I was like, what is this? It was
Yeah.
Keith's expense reports.
That reminds me, I need to write you a check for our holiday luncheon.
Check.
Yeah.
Writes checks.
You got the back everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the second coffee talk.
Okay.
And I don't even know. You might have to cut this whole part out. Mine are so inappropriate. Do you have any traumatizing holiday memories? Like I said, mine are both inappropriate. You have one?
I was born. I was born on the 28th.
Of December?
Yes.
Yeah, we're both
worst.
Christmas.
Well, Nate was born on the 20th.
Yeah.
Well, my grandmother was her birthday's also the 28th.
Okay.
So I just have that trauma because that was like my grandmother.
Yeah.
Like I did everything with. I was very close with.
Yes.
She I did not go to preschool or like daycare or anything.
Because you had your grandma.
I always went with her.
Yeah.
So that's all.
How many years has that been?
2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bless your heart. That's like legit traumatizing. Mine were more jokey. Sorry. Which you might have to cut mine out anyway. So I'm going to tell mine. I have to. And you can think while I'm telling mine.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a child of the 90s. So back in the 90s, when you had a camera and you wanted to take your Christmas photos, you put the little Fuji film in there and you had to like connect the little piece, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And our camera, you had to like wind, click,
Yeah.
wind, click until it took the first photo. And then it would take the first photo and you would know the film is in there correctly. So my family growing up, I've carried this tradition on and my children have this tradition as well. But my family growing up, we got to open one gift on Christmas Eve, and it was always nice pajamas, so that like Christmas pictures, Christmas morning, you weren't wearing like your ratty old nightgown with holes in it. And so this portion of my life, I was obsessed with New Kids on the Block. Yeah, do y'all know who that is? Okay. And I had gotten New Kids on the Block pajamas. Now, I was probably only 6. Like, I was very young. And I was so excited about them that I wanted to immediately put them on. So I opened my gift. My brothers opened theirs. And I'm like, Mom, can I put it on? So my mom sends my brothers to their room to get into their pajamas. And just right there in the living room, I dropped trowel to get my pajamas on. Unbeknownst to me, right behind me is my dad winding and snapping, winding and snapping, winding and snapping. So my mom was so excited to get our Christmas pictures back. We took the film in, we got it developed. She went to pick it up, and the very first picture is just a huge picture of my naked butt. And like, my family can't let things die. So like, it's in every photo album. They've shown it to every single person that we've ever met. Like, it's everywhere. Like, it won't die. But that was like my traumatizing Christmas, was like everyone got to see my naked butt.
Nice.
Because I was so eager to get those Christmas pajamas on. Similarly, when I was like 19 or 20 maybe, we had a huge snow on Christmas Eve. And Christmas Eve was always always the night that we went to my grandmother's house on my dad's side. Always did Christmas Eve at Mama Clark's house, and everybody came, all the aunts, all the cousins, everybody. We had a big Christmas celebration. Well, that year it snowed like 18 inches on Christmas Eve or something, so we couldn't go over there. So they rescheduled it for New Year's Eve. Well, I was going to go out on New Year's Eve, like hang out with my friends, and they smoked over at my mama's house, and I didn't want to like get all dressed and everything and then go over there, smell like smoke, and then go out. So I was like, well, I'm just going to wear my pajamas, not take a shower or anything, and then when I leave there, then I'll go take a shower, get ready, and go out. Great plan. So me and my brother get over there. We're a little bit late. We're kind of the last ones there. And the way it was at my aunt's house that year. The way my aunt's house is set up, you open the door and like it opens to the whole, like you see the whole house. You see the living room, you see the dining room, the kitchen. It's like a very open concept. So we walk in and I open the door and I say, Merry Christmas, like that, to my whole family. And my brother standing behind me and yanks my pajama pants down. And the entire family's like, so that trauma still lives with me.
I could see that.
That, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone thought it was hilarious, but I was like mortified. Can you top that?
No, I can't. Mine's pretty mild compared to that. I will say there was one Christmas, me and my cousin, at my house, we had a sled riding hill, and we went snowboarding, like with one of these cheap plastic snowboards from like the store. Yeah. And we were going, and he wiped out at the bottom of this hill, and it came back and hit him in the face and broke that thing that hangs down, whatever
your lip tie thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It like cut in half. So we ended up going to urgent care on
that. Like hurts.
Okay, what was your last thing that you told on the last podcast about Thanksgiving? You going to the hospital then?
Yeah, we had some injuries. Yeah, so we
you and your cousins.
Yeah,
is who this
comes
rough.
From. We were bruisers.
Yeah, you
big
were.
time bruisers. So anyway,
that makes me nervous. Yeah. And also you don't have anything traumatizing. No one pull your pants down on Christmas.
I think
we have a Christmas meeting coming up. I could do something really embarrassing for you. My kid, we did a funny thing. Well, my brother did a funny thing. We go to my mom's the day after Thanksgiving and decorate her tree. And so my kids were the ones putting the ornaments on. And my brother was putting the hooks on for him. And at the very end, my brother's like, okay, I'm going to put the last ornament on. And it is the pickle. And you have to find the pickle in the tree. Yeah, I'd never heard of it until like in my 20s. But he was like, well, I'll have the pickle and then you guys have to find it. So I made the boys go in the other room and then he hid the pickle. And then they come in and I am telling you, they looked for that pickle for like an hour and it was in my brother's pocket. Finally, Bastion comes to me and he goes, Mom, do you think he could be tricking us? I was like, I think he's tricking you, buddy. Yeah. Those poor kids.
That's pitiful.
I know. But for like an hour, I got to hang out with the grown-ups because the kids were busy looking for the pickle. Yeah, the kids are in the tree.
I love it.
Okay, y'all want to talk about FAFSA?
Let's talk about
All
it.
right, Keith, give me your official statement on the status of the 25-26 FAFSA.
All in all, I think it's been pretty solid.
I think so, too.
It's been pretty smooth. Certainly a lot better than this time last year.
Absolutely. It wasn't even open. this time
Yeah,
last
that's
year.
true.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything I'm hearing is that it's, for the most part, working as it should. I will say there's one common issue that I feel like we're seeing quite a bit, and it has to do with like old FSA IDs, typically from like a parent.
Yes.
From like, I don't mean like from a few years ago, from like having an older kid in college, but like from them having student loans from 15 years ago.
Right.
So, like, theoretically, they have these accounts with their student loan payments, and we're kind of going in this circle where it'll say, like, account not found when you try to, when you try to retrieve your password, but when you try to create one from scratch, it's saying you already have an account.
one. Yeah.
So you're going around in circles, and the only thing that we have learned to accommodate that is to just call the customer service hotline, and they can do like an identity check
Verification, yeah.
so that you can send in like your driver's license, and I will say the turnaround's been pretty decent. It's been like 5 to 7 days or something.
It's not been bad. Like, even though anytime you historically you have to call FSA, you're kind of like, oh man, here we go. It's not been bad.
It's not. Wait times are really low. I've yet to go to a FAFSA workshop where we're like on hold the whole time.
Yeah.
And we saw that a lot, a year ago. So
Yes.
I would say the average is a minute or two of wait time, which,
Yeah.
For something that big, that heavy
It's
traffic,
really not
that's
bad.
not bad at all. I'll take that any day. But yeah, outside of that, I feel like it's not been too bad at all.
I agree. We have like a group text with our outreach staff, and they will like text each other questions and any issues they're having, and there's a handful of things that'll come across, and they'll kind of help each other with workarounds, but almost nothing that has been earth-shattering or like that we're hearing the same problems over and over and over every single day. Like, it's just really been smooth. And I feel like, this time last year, we could have never predicted having this conversation today.
Right. No.
Like, it was so delayed. And then once it opened, there were so many issues that carried throughout the entire cycle.
Yep.
I feel like we could have never predicted it would be this smooth at this point.
Right. I agree. It's been pretty good all around. I will say, hearing from some of the schools that have already hosted FAFSA workshops, they've had pretty good turnout from what I'm hearing. They've had, I know, just talking to some of our outreach counselors over the last month or so, we've had some packed houses in terms of these
Attendance.
like parent nights and things like that. So I think
People
these
are really
all really
chomping
good
at the
signs.
bit to get it done and get it done early. Another really good sign is that FSA has kind of, I don't know the right word to say, but maybe like released their beta team. So they brought in interim players like Jeremy Singer from College Board.
Yep.
My contact, I don't know how to say his last name. It's spelled like quack, but I'm not sure it's quack.
You don't feel confident enough to call him
I don't feel confident enough to call him James Quack. And he's certainly not. He's very intelligent. But my contact for the beta processes, all of those people, they borrowed them from outside agencies to come work in an interim position to get the 25-26 FAFSA off the ground. They're all back at their normal jobs now.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great sign. If you have basically taken your team and said, you did it, you succeeded, great job, go back to your original jobs, I think that
they wouldn't do
means
that
they're
if
in a
they were,
good place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think it's all positive.
I do too.
So
Yeah. So there's your Christmas present.
there you go.
The FAFSA is open. It works. ICERs are being processed. Merry Christmas to
That's right.
all.
Yeah. Processing times are quick. From everything we're seeing, if you submit the FAFSA today, you should probably expect it to be finished processing within just a few days.
Yeah. 1 to 3 business days,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
So
we at KEAA have a few FAFSA initiatives going on. Our FAFSA scholarship has opened.
Yep, it is ready to go. So all you have to do is just be in Kentucky and complete your FAFSA. plain and simple, just like that.
And it's basically just collects demographic information.
Yep, just a quick survey that takes a few seconds. It's like less than 10 questions altogether, and we will draw random winners typically later in the spring.
Yeah.
So,
And then we have the one where the schools compete. The schools that are signed up for the FAFSA Completion Challenge in the state of Kentucky, high schools, and we kind of organize them in terms of large public, medium public, small public, and private. Then we've kind of had some discussions about, do we have like a micro private subcategory? We're just not sure. But depending on your category, if you have the highest percentage of completion among your seniors, you could win up to $500 from KHEAA. And we choose that in May. But you do have to be registered for the program. So if you miss the boat on that,
right.
gotta wait till next year.
Yeah, but I will say we have over 150 schools statewide who have signed up to be a part of this challenge, and again, it's all fun, and it's just another creative way that we can help spread the word about the importance of completing the FAFSA.
That's right. And last year, several of our winners would have won highest percentage if they'd been signed up for FAFSA Completion Challenge.
Exactly. That's why it's so important, folks.
That's right. It's important to go to KHEAA and register for that. And that typically opens around, but sometime between March and June each year.
Yep.
Also, we have the FAFSA. We have FAFSA
From the top.
From the top, we have FAFSA February that happens, shockingly, in February. And that is basically just, we put out a social media toolkit that we encourage partners to share, just encouraging FAFSA completion. That's kind of a month that lags down in terms of FAFSA completion. And so we always like to combat that with some social media initiatives.
Yeah, and I know last year we teamed up with college campuses and offered some workshops throughout the state. So certainly stay tuned for that, because I think there will be some pretty interesting opportunities here in the next month or two.
Let me ask you, and you may not know the answer to this. This is the last thing I want to talk about, and then we'll let people get back to their holiday festivities. We're getting lots of new and different guidance on parents with no socials. What you got for me? Have you been reading those emails?
I have, yeah.
I'm glad one of us has. I've been making Canva slides about if our staff members were cartoon characters,
right.
who would they be?
Equally important work.
Very important work.
Yeah. No, so when it comes to mixed status families, there's been some back and forth in terms of the messaging with some of our national partners, state partners, things like that on how to go about that in the best way possible. So I will say some of our federal partners just released like a cheat sheet that we'll probably share on social media, and I know our outreach counselors will have opportunities to spread that around the state as well, just to help walk families through that process if they choose to complete the FAFSA. But the way we look at it, there have been some messages about, should I complete the FAFSA if my parent is undocumented? And our opinion hasn't really changed at any point, even with all of the changes with the FAFSA.
There's been no change in the messaging from the federal government.
Correct.
That the information collected on the FAFSA can only by law be used for the awarding process of financial aid.
Right. Yeah.
And so we have had some people come out and say, like, we don't know if it's safe. I mean, I'm even hesitating to say it on air, but like, we don't know if it's safe to file your FAFSA now if you're a mixed status family. We hold on to the guidance we were previously given that in our estimation hasn't changed.
Right. And every family, can make that decision for themselves in terms of what would be the best course of action with the FAFSA. But from our standpoint, nothing has really changed from the federal government standpoint on how that data is being used.
Correct.
Because it's just being used for FAFSA purposes at this point. Could it change in the future? Who knows? But all we know, exactly, all we know is that at this point in time, if your student is eligible for financial aid, a parent's citizenship status has no impact at all on that student's ability to receive that aid. So the tricky thing is, though, they will, if they're a dependent student, they will need that parent information on the FAFSA. And that's where, it can get a little tricky. I will say at this point in time, though, federal student aid is still allowing undocumented parents to get through the FSAID process without sending in all of the identity verification documents. So at least for the time being, there's a little bit of a shortcut through that process. They have announced that at some point that will no longer be the case.
They're saying that it will be through the cycle.
Correct.
Through the whole cycle. They're kind of relaxing on that. And then I don't know if you saw the email this morning. I did glance at this one. I didn't read it thoroughly. I was in the middle of a Canva. But they are halting collection of identity verification pieces so that they can get through the backlog. And they've closed that ID verification at fsa.gov email address for now.
Right. So you can go through and get that FSAID without having to jump through all those extra hoops. So if it were me in that situation, I would look at that and think that's pretty positive news to be able to get through this without, with minimal obstacles, I feel like.
Right. And I think anytime there is, especially a party change in federal government, anytime there's a presidential change, there's anxiety about what's going to change with federal student aid. But I think especially with a party change, there's anxiety about it. But we don't want to be preemptive.
Right.
In any sort of predictions about what's going to happen with federal student aid at this point.
Right. All we can go off of is what currently is in place, and as it stands now, that's how you go through the FAFSA, and it's a working way of getting through the FAFSA for a lot of students. So
a lot of people have been asking us lately, what are you guys going to do when the Department of Ed gets closed or gets disbanded or whatever? And we're like, we're not going to worry about it until it's a real thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend my energy.
Right. Yeah, the way I look at it, we have enough things to worry about that are currently happening. So the way I look at it, at this point, of course, we'll keep you updated if things change or if any updates come forward that we hear about. But at this point in time, I would see the FAFSA as business as usual in terms of if you're a mixed status family, you can go ahead and complete that FAFSA easier than what you could have when they first opened up the FAFSA last cycle.
Yeah.
But, again, each family has to make that decision for themselves. And I understand, that there are some things to consider when you're completing that type of form. But as it stands now, there's not really a whole lot that would hold me back from going through that process and completing a FAFSA.
Right. Our guidance to our team is really, to present the facts to mixed status families and let them make their decision. There's no part of us that wants our staff wholly, confidently saying there's no risk in this at all. But also, we don't want our staff discouraging people from filing a FAFSA if they want and need to file a FAFSA. That's kind of where we are. We present all the facts and we walk away and let the family decide.
Yeah. At the end of the day, and I think that's important for anyone working in college access. Sometimes it's easy because we deal with this every day to feel like, I've got all the answers and I'm going to fill out this FAFSA for someone. At the end of the day, it's the student's FAFSA. It's that family's FAFSA. It's not our FAFSA. So, all we can do is present those facts and say, here's what the rules are. And then at the end of the day, it's the student and their family who will complete that FAFSA or they won't.
Right. Because any risk is being incurred by them, not us. So we don't want to speak out of turn.
Right.
Okay. And that's it for us for episode 20. Have yourself a happy little holiday. We'll see you next year. This is the last one of the year. This is actually the last time Keith and I are in Frankfurt.
That's right.
For the 2024 year.
That's crazy to think.
It is.
But yeah.
It's going to be 2025.
Yeah. We have our holiday meeting with our staff coming up, which I'm super excited about. That's always a fun time.
So if we never come back to this podcast, we either didn't survive that meeting.
Right.
Or we got fired shortly after.
Yeah.
Or there was a coup.
That's right.
Among our team.
Yeah, that's true.
But yes, we hope everyone enjoys their holiday season. We bid you Happy New Year. Take time to spend with loved ones. Don't be bad because you'll get coal in your stocking. Santa is literally on his way to town.
Yep.
And until next time, You say it too.
I am.
He decided 2 times ago he wasn't going to say it with me anymore. You know this, right?
Back and looked.
And he usually does, right?
You did until like 2 times ago.
Right.
Is that right?
And then he
Okay.
stopped and he was like, I never say it with you. He lives Mandela effect.
Interesting.
Like,
Okay.
3 videos ago, you did say it.
Okay. All right. Ready?
And until next time,
See you later.
One, two, three. 1, 2, 3.